Hello and welcome. My name is Evgeny Rusakov and you're watching TVP World interview from Vilnius. 86.82%. Now, who would have thought that the authoritarian leader Alexander Lukashenko is still so popular in Belarus to become the president for the 7th time in a row? And that's after the infamous 2020 presidential elections. Anyway, to discuss the recent presidential elections in Belarus, we are joined today by the human rights defender at Center Viasna, Kanstantsin Staradubets. Kanstantsin, thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
86.82%. Very popular leader, I have to mention. What's your take on this?
Well, apparently he got what he wanted to get.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. He wanted to get 87.6, but then they probably must have recounted the voices.
Right, but if you look at his so-called rivals, I mean, that's nothing, close to zero. And the second candidate is against all. Actually,
5%.
5%. One simple thing to understand: ballots are not counted in Belarus. They have not been counted for many years, for decades, actually, including this so-called election. And one more thing: this is not an election, of course. No one is elected. It's an appointment procedure,
exactly.
Reappointment.
Exactly.
Reappointment. Right. So the numbers do not matter, and even with those two facts, the background, how it was organized, it's ridiculous. It's nothing but laughingstock. It's not even near any standards of fair and just elections.
Okay. Okay, how about you personally? Did you expect this number or did you expect something higher?
More or less the same. I think, yeah, you should have got something close to Putin.
But he didn't dare to overthrow the emperor.
Apparently he didn't. Apparently he still thinks that Putin is superior to him, that he is the leader of a greater country.
That's interesting. Well, we'll come back to this. How about, you've definitely spoken to the citizens of Belarus inside Belarus. So what did they tell you about those elections? I'm sorry, I can't call it any other way.
Well, to start with, it is extremely difficult to receive information coming from inside Belarus. People are intimidated, they're afraid to share information, right? We did receive some reports from inside the country, and they confirm our assumptions, our conclusions that the people actually did not en masse go to those polling stations. People were afraid to lose their jobs.
Even like
70% of Belarus economy is government-owned. That means that those people are totally controlled by the government. They can be told what to do and when to do and how to do it. If you lose a government-funded job in Belarus, it's quite possible that you will not be able to find another job in the private sector. So, I mean, that's quite understandable for people to go and do this ridiculous, stupid, but something that is so important for the government at this stage.
And this is actually the conditions, well, under which these elections took place. Am I right?
Exactly. I mean, we did have some reports, some complaints from people saying that they were specifically instructed to go to the polls, no matter, I mean, what your vote looks like, or who we vote for.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all I can even explain. It's because Alexander Lukashenko wanted to get 86.82.
Yeah, but since, like I said, the ballots are not actually counted, it doesn't matter.
Right, that's right.
You just have to go to the polls to be present there, so that you are on the list, and so that your government-funded job is not at risk.
By the way, there was that funny story with Lukashenko's dog, as far as I remember. So what was it?
I think, yeah. I mean, that thing when his Pomeranian marked a wall inside the polling station, I think that's quite emblematic. It's something.
I would say so, yes, exactly.
Yeah, of this entire circus show.
The most honest reaction to these elections.
Exactly. Seeing that made me laugh. I mean, and many, probably, I believe that many Belarusians and people abroad, it was in the news. I mean, it's. Again, it's laughing stock. It's nothing more.
Looks like the only, if I can say so, person that is not afraid of Alexander Lukashenko in Belarus is his dog.
Exactly, because he's not a person.
Exactly. Well, the only thing then. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. The official turnout for early voting was almost 42%. So, what's your take on this? Is this even possible?
Well, it is possible on paper, of course, since we see it, and it's an all-time record. To mention,
I don't remember something like this in Lithuania, for example.
They've practiced this for many years, and I would use one word to describe, only one word to describe that: coercion. This entire system is based on coercion, and that they.
Well, they had a good. Let's put it that way. They had Lukashenko's regime had a good rehearsal. In March 2024, there were presidential elections in Russia, so they literally copied everything from there.
Yeah, this dictators club. It's I mean, copying from one another. Yeah, or I heard this beautiful phrase that they liked, this mutual admiration society. They actually admire one another in a way, copying one another's playbooks, and it's no surprise that the first leaders that were so hasty to congratulate Lukashenko on his seventh victory are the worst dictators.
Yeah.
Turkmenistan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Putin.
Yeah.
And guys like that.
Okay. So according to results, the only woman candidate, Anna Konopatskaya, got 1.6%, which puts her to the 5th place or 4th place, if we take the one that against everybody, so it's 5th place. Since long ago, there were many talks about Lukashenko's attitude towards women in politics. So, what is this? A conservative point of view towards women in politics? Or he's just, personal trauma?
I think it's both. So it's trauma meets belief. It's his sincere conviction that a woman cannot take a public,
run country,
top-ranking office. And that, I mean, the simple answer is why it's not possible, because Lukashenko himself is male.
Well,
I mean, he is, in his world, in his universe, he is the only capable, real
run the country
president, ruler. He does not see Belarus
in the hands of a woman.
Any future scenario for Belarus with anyone, let alone a woman. Woman is out of the question. He is still traumatized by this experience. Exactly, that a woman who was not even a politician back then.
She was a teacher.
Yeah, school teacher. So she just defeated him. It was a landslide victory. Overturning that vote. So of course it's still haunting him. Of course it's our assumptions based on his behavior. We're not his therapist, but it's very, very probable that's what is driving him today. Still 5 years after that.
Okay, let's move on. And since you're a human rights defender, I wanted to mention the topic of political prisoners in Belarus, because just before the elections, he showed to the rest of the world Maria Kolesnikova and he showed Viktor Babarika. And my question is, so it was definitely shown for some Western countries, I guess. So what's your take on this move? Could anything change for political prisoners after these elections? What does the practice tell you?
The practice, the long history of our interaction or lack of interaction,
with
actually observing him and his repressive practices suggests that nothing is going to change. And him showing, or his his people. I mean, in the first place, it was Protasevich, of course, who organized that. Probably
the system just broke him.
Yeah, it shows that probably it's not. In the first place, it's not related to this so-called election. No signs of that. It's a part of a longer strategy of sending signals to the West. You're completely right about that. That's not about talking to the internal audience. That's about talking to external politicians. But the key question is that we first take out is that we do not know why exactly he's doing that and what signal he's sending. Second is that, like I said, it's not going to change the very dire situation of those political prisoners, essentially.
Which are more than 1,200.
They're still held in awful conditions with no links and communication with their families outside world, and with many years ahead of them. It's not going to change.
And could you please just remind our viewers what is the number of political prisoners at this specific moment in Belarus?
It's close to 1,300. That number is fluctuating, it's changing daily, because some people are being released, others are arrested, so it's not stable. But it's around
1,300.
1,300.
Yeah, since the last digits that I've seen was 1245.
Right.
Okay. Again, so the West did not recognize these elections, which is no wonder. Putin and other authoritarian leaders, well, know exactly how these elections are done. So now you maybe have an answer to this question. Why and for whom is this whole circus being played out?
Well, it is mostly for one and only person, for Lukashenko himself.
And his dog.
He needs his Pomeranian, right, that he loves so much, apparently. He needs recognition from someone, at least someone. He does not have it from the outside, from the West, from the people of Belarus, because he does not dare have a genuine election to see what his actual popularity looks like. So he needs at least this fake mimicry of recognition of legitimacy, just like many other dictators around him. And those very brutal dictators of the past.
And
even the North Korea has elections. I mean, why? Because they are called democratic. I mean, they're a democratic republic. The same with Belarus.
That to some extent that obliges, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, the name democratic or republic suggests that
it puts you in some kind of frames.
Yes, it's a framework. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, my last question about Lukashenko. Is he still the last European dictator?
Well, looking at the map, and it suggests that he is not, of course. We have Putin, we have Aliyev in Azerbaijan, if you consider Azerbaijan to be a European country.
That's totally geographical question.
So we can see some autocratic decline in proper European EU countries. So he is not, unfortunately, and that helps him being stronger. That makes him strong, unfortunately, because this dictators club, it's something that. As you said, mutual admiration, self-sustainability, and mutual admiration, and helping each other.
That probably energizes him.
Yeah,
a bit.
It gives him hope that he can last longer than he is destined to last.
Well, let's see. He is already 70 years old, so let's see what the next 5 years will bring us.
Yeah, we will continue to observe that with interest.
Kanstantsin, thank you so much for joining us today, and really hope to see you once again in our studio.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was a human rights defender at Center Viasna, Kanstantsin Staradubets. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.